What does it mean to be human? On a microscopic level, if your DNA is that of a Homo sapien, you are human. However, there is more than meets the molecule. Now we ask, how are we so different from animals? We define humanity as holding several key attributes: innovation, logic and reasoning, and emotion and empathy. Innovation has created a species unlike any other. From the development of civilization in ancient Mesopotamia to the rise of Greek and Roman supremacy in the Mediterranean, humanity has come a long way. But with the destruction of Rome after 1,200 years of prosperity, society and humanity collapsed. Disease, poverty, crime, and war, summed up simply as chaos, describe these so-called Dark Ages. For multiple centuries, mankind did not progress. In fact, before the era of grand palaces and temples of Greece and Rome rose to prominence, observations and studies have shown that man went backwards. These Dark Ages has lasted until the rebirth of Roman and Greek innovation and ingenuity in the 15th century. The Renaissance has resulted in the continuing culture and technological innovations. Leonardo da Vinci, born, raised, and educated in the center of Renaissance Italy, is considered the ideal Renaissance man. His drawings, inventions, and artwork encompass many of the major aspects of the Renaissance. He is quoted as saying, "It had long since come to my attention that people of accomplishment rarely sat back and let things happen to them. They went out and happened to things." Da Vinci describes an accomplished man as going out and conquering problems. Innovation equals success, and this quote characterizes the Renaissance, and Da Vinci like no other. After the Renaissance, a century passed before another major era of innovation came about. This time period, the Enlightenment and Scientific Revolution, gave birth to many notable thinkers and inventors. Ideas ranging from the humane treatment of prisoners and criminals, to the process of government and authority, to the increase in agricultural production, due to new farming methods, created a time period of innovation unrivaled for decades to come. In Emile, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, an 18th century philosopher, is quoted as saying, "To live is not merely to breathe, it is to act." Rousseau's statement points to the obvious. Sitting around gets you nowhere. If you go out and do something, you will find happiness and success. On a deeper level, Rousseau is applying his quote to innovation. Innovation leads to success and happiness, not just for the present, but for the future. The Industrial Revolution was proof of this. For example, James Watt's steam engine created a society defined by efficiency and advancement. This society was, and still is, unique to the human race. However, the steam engine was preceded by some inventions that created a base for the revolution that occurred with the steam engine. The most notable of these was the invention of the water frame, which greatly lowered the time made to spin thread. After this early, or first industrial revolution occurred, Nikola Tesla established the modern way of creating electricity through the invention of the alternating current. After the second industrial revolution, humanity entered the digital age in the late 20th century, as said by Microsoft's Bill Gates. I think it's fair to say that personal computers have become the most empowering tool we've ever created. They are tools of communication, they are tools of creativity, and they can be shaped by their user. Gates is one of the most defining points of world innovation due to his invention of the Windows processing system. In this statement, he is proving that this computer could very easily define a new type of living, a life, in which you can create a perfect life that you can go to every day after work and relax. This new age brought everything you wanted into your own home and continues to evolve today. Logic and reasoning have changed across the course of history, from having God answer every question about the world to doing research and observations on how the world actually works. From the start of the Renaissance, the Catholic Church has taken control of the people to believe that everything and everyone is created by God. The logic and reasoning started to change with the scientific revolution when Nicholas Copernicus' heliocentric model proved that the Earth goes around the Sun. Due to the revolution, many people decided to trust reason instead of the church, which brought in the Age of Enlightenment. Philosophers like Montesquieu created treatises on government, telling us that government should be created with 3 separate branches, and that changed the logic of politics. Logical positivism states that he who has more knowledge and sensory experience is greater than all who know less. Philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche stated that even though the divergences are admittedly tremendous, they are due more to the difference in time, culture, and science. The other ideal, existentialism, was also influenced by Friedrich Nietzsche, in which he emphasized that God was dead, which meant that people had to abandon religion and create their own path in life. Emotion and empathy are also two characteristics unique to humans. However, these traits can be for good or for bad. For example, the French Revolution of the 1790s had times full of emotion. But the revolution wasn't always a good emotion, like in the name of democracy and freedom, but also a bad emotion, like when Robespierre and the radical Jacobins took power and initiated a reign of terror. Jingoism, or extreme German nationalism, is a very good example of emotion because Jingoism drew a lot of emotion from the German people. This emotion was channeled through imperialism and Germany's goal to be the dominant power in Europe. The emotion and empathy towards Hitler in World War II was harsh from the Allied powers for breaking the Treaty of Versailles and the extermination of Jews in Europe because of his belief that Jews caused everything bad that happened in Germany. On the other hand, Hitler and his Nazis used vivid emotion and empathy to inspire the German peoples to place all their beliefs in one man and his ideals. The attack on the September 11, 2001 showed the emotional rage of how punishment and judgment would affect the ideology of how we view others in the world. The racial prejudice caused by these attacks made many people hate and poke fun at the Middle Easterners, most specifically the Muslims. Also, the 2012 Benghazi attacks in Libya was another attack on America. Terrorists with links to Al-Qaeda killed several people, including the American ambassador. Reactions in the U.S. were harsh. This resulted in a political split between the Democrats and Republicans, each blaming each other for why the attack happened. But not all emotion is bad. For example, after the Boston Marathon bombing, spectators and other first-hand responders almost immediately jumped to the aid of those injured. They felt empathy for those who were harmed. When a soldier returns home, they are also often greeted with great emotion, like happiness or relief. Humanity has come a long way. At times, we act like animals.
Get your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
But for a lot of history, man has been defined as a separate species. We, as a different species, are characterized by having the traits of innovation, logic and reasoning, and emotion and empathy. These traits enable us to do great things, and we have used them to do great things.